experts in the things that we love. And so I happen to really love punk rock, which makes me a bit of an expert. So if you've ever wanted to try and write a punk rock song, boy, do I have some ideas for you. What is up, Yoshis? My name is Beth and I run Steadfast, Ascent, and punk rock for me is defined by 4 simple things. The first is drums. Punk drums all sound the same. The next is guitars. You've got 2 layers really of guitars. You've got your rhythm guitars that are going super fast and chugging really hard, and then you've got your aggressive, so beautiful, full lead guitar, which is just making everything come together with some lead lines. Oh, it's so good. Your vocals are always so raw and powerful, and then the lyrics are always anti-man, anti-system, let's go be our own kind of people and say no to anyone who tries to tell us otherwise. You put those 4 things together and honestly, you have yourself a beautiful, amazing, hardcore punk rock track. Now, you might be interested in writing about girls, and then punk rock is good for that too, but really, the essence of the genre for me is more about the way the drums and the guitars interact together and how the lyrics sing and speak out for freedom. So if you wanted to make a punk rock song in 8 tracks or less, these are the ones I would suggest for you. Number 1, your drum track. The sound is absolutely not as important as the beat. Punk beats are fast and aggressive. You're going to be using a lot of your kick and snare to accentuate. And honestly, you're probably going to be playing at double the speed than you have done before. I would definitely recommend using more punk beats than I would recommend using rock beats, but you really can use both in your song. Number 2 is bass. Think of bass as the glue that brings the drums and the guitars together. So your bass is actually tying the kick drum together with whatever your guitars are doing. So it might tonally be the same as the guitar. So if you're playing an A, you might be playing an A, but rhythmically, it's probably more likely to be following the drums. Of course, the genre is about freedom, so feel free to just take all of these suggestions and throw them away. But if you follow the drums rhythmically and the guitar melodically on your bass, you should have a solid bass track. Number 3 is rhythm guitar 1. And number 4 is rhythm guitar 2. I usually use 2 guitar tracks, then I pan them hard to either side and I use a different guitar tone for each side, but have them play the same thing. Why? Because it creates a broad texture and it also emphasizes the aggression of your guitars. And if you need help figuring out what your guitar should be playing, power chords, my friend, power chords. Now, whereas your drums were more punk than rock, your guitar should probably be more rock than punk, in the sense that for punk rock, you're really going for aggressive distortion and really harsh textures. On a punk level, you can go with more clean stuff, but I'd really recommend that for number 5, which is your lead guitar. Now, if you go from a strictly lead perspective, you want your lead guitar to be playing licks or keeping it simple while there are vocals. Because remember, half of punk rock is aggressive vocals and what they're saying. So you want it to complement the vocals. But when there aren't vocals, you can be shredded. Alternately, as I mentioned, you can use this track as a clean guitar track to emphasize different chords, or stick to it being strictly lead and just blister our faces. Okay, I realize that's a little more metal than punk rock, but the point is, if we want freedom, we have to have the freedom to choose how our lead guitar will sound. Your 6th track is a harmony lead guitar, because punk rock is halfway about guitars. So in this sense, you're really just complementing what the lead guitar is doing to complement the vocals and or complement what the lead guitar is doing when it is absolutely going nuts. Your 7th track is your vocal track. This track is super important because this is how you're conveying your lyrics. And because it's punk rock, you can do so melodically, or you can just, angrily yell into the microphone. I'm telling you, punk rock is for all people. It's so easy to make. Your final track is going to be a vocal harmony. You're going to want to use this to emphasize your lyrics. You can do that melodically, or you can also, amplify the anger and or the freedom messaging and use both tracks to really hammer in your message. The thing I like and recommend about punk rock as a genre is that it's aggressive, but it isn't metal. You can play simple things on your guitar and still be super punk rock, which is probably why I have become a professional at this, because I'm really not skilled enough to be playing metal riffs, but I have all of the energy inside of the punks. Now, if you've been requested to make a song and you're on this video because you have no idea what you're doing, I've left some artists in the description to help give you some inspiration for what exactly you could be creating. And now that I've explained you only need 8 tracks to get started, well, you should go write a punk rock song. Before you do that, you might still have some questions. Let me know, I'm happy to answer them. And if you also consider yourself a master of punk rock and you feel like I have misrepresented the genre, please let me know so that I can correct. Or just agree with me because, it's a beautiful genre. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time.